I move that the question be now put.
David Shearer.
It's a pleasure to take a call on this clause of the bill, and I just want to look at the interpretation clause that we're debating. There's effectively three issues around this interpretation clause. One that Sue Moroney addressed, which is the Hamilton City Council aspect of it, and my colleague Steve Chadwick also did the same in terms of the risk about the name of that being changed. The actual name of Parana Park itself, and whether in fact, as Steve Chadwick just said, Parana Park is in fact the most appropriate name for this particular park in Hamilton, although I can see that it's well known in Hamilton as Parana Park. But the other part of the bill that I want to speak to, Mr. Chair, deals with the amount of land that is actually is part of this of Parana Park. And it's very interesting in this interpretation when you look at what has the alterations, the changes that have taken place from the 1950 bill Act through to the one today. And I just want to, the land is comprising more or less 1.2141 hectares and described in the Computer Freehold Register, say 128/41. Now, it's not about acres, Ms. Shana Dern. I want to go to the area which is actually being crossed out, because actually this is actually quite a substantive point, and it's a question. It's a question, and I'm not trifling with the House. But if you look at A, B, and C, and you take the square meterage of those areas that have been crossed out, A is 2,832 square metres, being more or less Lot 1 DPS 3401, and it goes on to define that formerly part allotment of 219 Kurikuroa Parish. Then you add up with Part B, which is 8,700 square metres, more or less, being Lot 2 DPS 3401. And again, it's part of the 219 Kurikuroa Parish. And then you add that to Part C, which is 4,856 square metres, being Lot 3 DPS 3401, again of 219 Kurikuroa Parish. My addition comes to 16388. Now, I'm not quite sure, which gives you basically 1.6388 hectares. I don't quite understand the difference between what was the land called Parana Park, which is comprising 1.6388 hectares, and the current 1.2141 hectares for what we're going to be voting on today. This is actually a pretty important point, because somewhere along the line here we've lost approximately 0.4 of a hectare from one bill to another. Now, that's about an acre, Shana Dern, and actually that's a considerable amount of land. Now, what I'd like to know, and Mr. Chair, this is a serious point, because I read through the submissions very closely, trying to find out where that 0.4 might have been. I went through the Hamilton City Council submission, where I thought that the submission itself might have addressed where that 0.4 might have disappeared to, but I can't find any reference to it. Now, the conspiracy theorists out there might say, well, the government sold it off. David Bennett, I wouldn't say that. I think what we've got here is it could be possibly a mistake. It could be just simply that something's been changed around, but I would have thought there would have been some explanation either in the commentary on the bill, or there might have been some explanation in in terms of the Hamilton City Council's submission to the Select Committee. Now, I'd like to ask the Select Committee, and particularly I'd like to ask David Bennett, who's sitting in a chair alongside the chair, what the discrepancy might...
Honourable Nathan Guy.
I move that the question be now put.